there's definitely a delay on the video, so it might be that when you write something that it takes a while, like 5 seconds or 10 seconds until you see me responding to it. Can you hear me now? Hello? Wait a second. Hello? Can you hear me now?
All right, I hope this is better. Still soft now? Now it should be okay, I think, because it was actually using it was using the speaker of my headphones and they were lying right next to me, so that's the reason why it was really quiet, probably. All right, cool. This is a first for me, so I'm a bit excited but also nervous. Some people in the Discord already, they asked some questions, so I prepared them a bit, so let's go over it. And of course, if you have questions in the meantime, I keep an eye on the chat, so if there's something I need to explain better or something like that, then definitely let me know. Hello, Joshua, Incomprehensible, and ABC, and everybody else. I see the Spanish people also arrived, another YouTuber. Although I have a hard time pronouncing your name, I think it's Cuadernos de Herodoto. I hope it's right. Now Light is here too. A lot of names that I recognize from the Discord, of course. And Toxin, he was here early. I think this morning I scheduled the YouTube live stream and I already saw him passing by, so all right, let's go to the first question, and that is from ABC, and that is, how old and when is the anniversary of RPG Playground? And I must say, I had to, Mexico is also here. Yeah, if you speak Spanish, now I automatically think that you're from Spain, but indeed Mexico is of course also represented here. So yeah, how old is RPG Playground? Well, I looked into my source code. Wait, let me share my screen here. This is the history. And if you look at my first source code commit, it was Tuesday, April 24th, 2012. So actually, that was when I started with RPG Playground, and I had the idea of making a tool to make your own RPGs. And wait, let me go to the Wayback Machine. So I think there was another question related to that. Yeah, what inspired you to make RPG Playground? Well, what inspired me was mainly Minecraft, actually. So it was Minecraft. When like creating games was always on my mind, but when I saw Minecraft, I had this extra idea of that it's so easy. You're playing the game and you're creating it in the meantime, and that's then a light bulb went off in my head, and I thought, like, yeah, why not have a game, and then while you're playing it you can edit it. But of course Minecraft is not really a game making tool, but if you could extend it more, then you could really like make games. So that's actually how I started, to just make games while playing it. That's why it's still a bit, you can still see it a bit in RPG Playground, where you can just play it, open the edit tools, edit it, and then go back. Right now, when you edit it, the game is paused, of course, because it was easier to do that. But I see the first question, but I'll answer that soon. So I thought it was, when the game keeps playing, then it might be hard to edit it. So that's why I paused the game and then go back to playing if you close the edit dialog. So that's basically it. And you see here, Wayback Machine, that basically stores everything, all the websites, the history. And if you go back to 2012, and here is also somewhere in June, that's the first time when they tracked the RPG Playground website. And if I click on it, then you can see actually the first version that I released. So it was this website, and it was actually a Flash application. I see now that this one also shows ads. That wasn't at the start, so let's wait a bit. So this one was the first version. You had to log in here, and then here was a bit an about page, things like that. You see here version 0.1, so this is really the first one, released 2012. So yeah, I hope that answers the question of the history of RPG Playground a bit. Now let's go to the question that I see in the chat. Will it ever be possible to import custom assets into RPG Playground? Yes, I hope so, that it will be possible. Let's go to the roadmap. I think it's somewhere here. Import your own graphics. This is the one. It's got 33 votes. And this basically describes, to import your own graphics. One thing I must say is if I release this, then probably it will be a paid, like a paid feature. If you look here, it's also pretty much at the top here. It's even on the first screen here, if you can see it. The reason why I'm not that I want to implement it, of course, because I think it's really cool that you can add your own graphics, but I'm a bit scared about the whole copyright things. Like I know a lot of people will start adding copyrighted material in there, and I haven't. I still need to see how I best handle that, because it could be tricky, but I don't know yet. So, but it's definitely there. I definitely want to implement it, better sooner than later, because of course if you can add your own graphics, a lot of the games now look the same. If you open RPG Playground, you open a game, then it kind of has the the same styling to it. You immediately see that it's a game from here. If you import your own graphics, of course, it might be way cooler. That all kinds of games can be created with all kinds of visual style. So yeah, that looks really cool. But so yeah, that's for importing. What else is here? A save menu. Yes, that will be there. But first, I want to add another thing, and that is to respawn the player. Here is the player can save load game progress. That is a big feature for me. It will take some time for me to implement it, but there is another one. I think it's called spawn something. No. Let's see if I can locate it. No. But somewhere here there is actually a feature here where you respawn. That would mean if you enter a door, your location is saved, and when you fight a monster and you die, then actually you respawn to that place. So the monsters that you killed are still there, everything is still there as you left it when you died, but you respawn somewhere. And that is a feature that I can implement way faster than a real save and load feature. So that one will be there first, and I hope that already solves a lot of the issues that you have now, that if you die that you have to start from scratch again. So then we can also work with, for example, like 3 or 5 lives that you have, and if you die, then it consumes a life and you respawn back to the last door. Or maybe I also introduced some kind of checkpoint system where you walk over some checkpoint and it remembers where you were. So I hope that answers that question. Do you work on RPG Playground as a full-time job or a part-time job? Well, currently it's a part-time job. I'm a freelance software developer, so by doing that I get money in the bank to then work part-time on RPG Playground. So currently that's working out really fine, I think, because with of course if you really have a full-time job, then you don't have much time for just in the weekends and the evenings, and then it takes of course way longer. Even now, in my opinion, it goes really slow with adding all the features and stuff. So if it would go even slower, then it would not be good. So do you work on RPG Maker by yourself? Yes. So the RPG Playground, the application itself, is made solely by me. The graphics, they are free graphics that I find on the internet, because if I would do graphics, that wouldn't look very good. So, and the website, actually I paid somebody else to do that, because I wanted to add a community. I wanted to make it easy for you to share games, to play games, things like that. So I actually paid somebody, because I could do it myself, but then I would lose time on RPG Playground itself. So I paid somebody to do the website really quick. So that's what you see right now. I hope to improve it in the future, or even in the far future, to include that part in RPG Playground itself. I don't know if you still remember, at a certain point I actually had I started RPG Playground itself in kind of a lobby where you could have a list of games. So it was inside RPG Playground at a certain point, but because it was way easier to add like comments, like button, things like that on a normal website, I switched it over to the website. So yeah, that's about it, I guess, for the questions now. But on the Discord, some other questions were still asked. So let me see what else was asked. Yeah, I see Cassius. I didn't see him in the stream yet. Is Cassius here in the stream? Maybe he goes with a different name. No, probably not. But I can answer a question, of course. Or maybe I could skip to another question that was asked by Duck King. I don't know if he's here. Yeah, also not. So, okay. All right. So I'll answer your question, because I saw a few questions. What's the current roadmap, and what should we expect for the next months? Well, I have the roadmap open here. So the upcoming release. Yeah, I'm currently implementing this one, screenplay when a monster dies. It takes a bit more time than I expected. But basically what I'm doing now is I'm wrapping up some features about the screenplay. So I will do a few other ones, like make sure that the components that I added recently, that those can be also used in the screenplays. Change actor direction, we'll also add that one. And then after the screenplays or the actions, then I will move over to the ground paint tools, because yeah, as you know, now it's all clicking, things like that. Yeah, if you have to fill something, you have to click on every tile basically. But I can show you something. This is Figma, and here I kind of like design my user interface. You can also see like a version of the user interface that didn't make it to release level because I thought it was still too complex, this one, so we ended up with this thing. And I was also working a bit on yeah, what we will see in the with the tile maps, and those are these tools that I want to implement as fast as possible. This is the paintbrush. It will be a bit different because you will be actually possible to paint things, like to paint lines, things like that you don't have to click everywhere. Then yeah, this is the eraser, we already have that. Then we have a fill, yeah, like a rectangle fill. Now I will make this a bit special because normally this thing would repeat stuff. Let me see if I have one here. So let's just say if I have like the walls thing here, if I would select it, let's just take this one. If I have a rectangle tool here and I would drag it open, then actually the tile that will be repeated will be the middle tile especially, and these ones, and the corner tiles will remain at the corner. So that would mean with the rectangle tool, if you select it like this and you drag it, then actually it creates a big house and not like something repeated or something like that. And yeah, of course the same with this thing, so it would be really fast and easy to draw bigger things. Wait, I'm gonna check the chat a bit. Yeah, so dragging tiles, I see Sylvain asked something. So dragging tiles will be this one. That's right now, if you select a few tiles and you place it, I remember that it's part of the same object. So if this tree, for example, if you placed it as a hole, then I know, okay, it's a hole. And then with this icon, you will be able to move those things. And then what I didn't explain is the fill tool. So the fill tool will just, yeah, if you see the grass here, everything that is grass will be filled if you click on it. And this is like a picker, a tile picker. If you want to know which tile set, for example, was the road, then you take the picker here, you pick it, and then it will be selected on the left. So then you can yeah, you can easily copy or work on your levels like that if you don't remember exactly where it came from. So those are the tools that I want to add, yeah, as fast as possible. What it doesn't include is auto tiles, like some tile map editors support auto tiles. For example, this road here, you could just fill it up here and then automatically these corners are set. So if we go here, I think like the ground is like that. So these kind of things, actually what I could do is I would just be able to show you this one, and when you start filling here, then all these side things will be automatically filled up and you don't have to select everything one by one. But that is a bigger feature, so I want to postpone the auto tiles for a while and work on some more urgent features first. But yeah, I expect that this one already, like these tools, will already solve a lot of problems that you have now, or just that makes everything slower. So another question, would all characters have the updated picture instead of the pixelated ones? Yes, that is also in here somewhere. I think it has a bit of votes, but not too many. Yeah, so it's this one. It only has one vote. So this is the nice face graphics instead of pixelized version. Wait, I can paste this, share. So if you want to vote on it, go to the link that I paste in the chat, and then you can start voting, of course. Yeah, the thing is, I searched for a graphician to be able to do that, but I didn't find a good one yet. So I have to see who can actually make those nicer face graphics, because a lot of people actually have been requested it, I think. So that is that. Yeah, the tokens. Yes, it's possible that they were actually removed. Didn't I? I thought yeah, here. I created a task for it. Reset tokens is gone. It's possible that with the latest changes that I did, that this one was gone. Of course, what you can do now is you can just restart your game. So if you restart your game, then all tokens will be reset, of course. So I'm not sure how fast I will be able to add this, because I think that by resetting the game that you already have that functionality, no? Or is there another reason why it's more convenient to just reset the tokens? Let's see if there were other questions here. ABC asked, do you feel like RPG Playground lacks attention? Would you advertise or spread it more? Well, yes, I think it lacks attention. So yeah, I tried a lot of things actually, because at first I also didn't know who would like RPG Playground. I went on Tixor, what is it called? Tixor's forums. I tried Reddit. I tried all kinds of things. And right now, what seems to be working is YouTube for my users actually, and also on Twitter. I also see a lot of nice responses, but I don't think on Twitter most of my users are there. I think most of my users are on YouTube, so that's also the reason why I'm now pushing YouTube a lot, because I want to see how far I can take it actually. And I think I have a tab open here with some statistics. Like I found Social Blade here, and it can show all kinds of statistics on YouTube channels. And if you look at RPG Playground, wait, if you go to the bottom here, and you can really see that I did a push here, it was rising a bit, but not like crazy. And then here in this March, I started pushing my YouTube videos a lot, making more videos, things like that, requesting that people subscribe, of course. And yeah, you can see that it really there was a huge bump here, also in the number of views. So, and you also know, of course, that every time we hit a new milestone, that new characters are released, things like that. So I'm really pushing it now. My short-term goal now is reach 1,000 subscribers, and then see where we can go from there. but I still want to release some extra videos, some nice videos on YouTube, and and see if that really gets the ball going, or something like that. Also here you have, that's also a nice one, you have future projections, and this one means like certain milestones where, like, of course it's all statistics, so nothing is set in stone in this, but like in 2 months where I will be, in 4 months, things like that. So I like to watch this and see where it's going. But this one is I think a pessimistic like estimate. I want to do it faster, even to grow my YouTube channel a bit faster, but let's see how that one will work out. Let's see what else is here. This one is from Duck King. Will the engine ever support monster sprites or actor sprites which are above the standard size? And that one, right now, those are not supported, and the main reason is, let me show you, that my engine works with 2 layers of the tile map, and that is everything that is below the player and everything that is above the player or other characters. And you can really see it if I take this one and I only place this tile next to it. If I move my hero, then of course this one works fine. I cannot move through this one. And here, if I go here, then that tile is above the player. But of course, if the player is taller, now the player can maximum be 2 tiles high. So if I'm here, I'm in front of it. But the thing is, if the player is higher and you go here, see, then it actually moves behind it, while for a tall player, if a tall player moves here, then its head would disappear. But right now, that's not what you want, of course. So if I need to support taller sprites, that means that I have to adapt the engine to also support multiple layers, more than 2 actually. So that I know, like, if the player is here, then display it in front of it. If the player is here, then display the player behind it. So that is the main reason why that is still not straightforward to add that. But it, of course, comes along with, for example, the famous water tiles. Here they are, second place. So if I implement the water tiles, then I'm gonna rewrite my tile map engine a bit, and then I also take these kinds of things in consideration, that in the future it would also be possible to add taller sprites and things like that. So Toxin asks, will we ever be able to play the game in full screen? Yes, that's in my mind, but I don't know if it's actually a feature. Because now, of course, the editing can go full screen, but no, it seems I don't have it actually as a feature. But the thing is, if wait, let me first drink a bit. For the editing, it's okay to just make the screen bigger. Like if it's big, you can edit stuff. But if you want to play full screen, you do not want to see everything that you can see with the editor. So if you play full screen, I actually want to make it that it scales it up, that your entire screen is filled with the game, but with the game that you would normally see. so so that it doesn't reveal like an edge of the map or something like that. So yeah, it's been pondering in my mind, but there's no concrete steps yet to do that actually. So okay, let's see what other questions were here. Yeah, I skipped one of the Cassius questions. What's the priority for some console tweaks like and/or operators, and what about showing the value of integer variables? Yeah, so that is that's all got to do with screenplays, of course. The thing is, I want to extend screenplays and the actions as much as possible, but it kind of is a project on its own. Like the RPG Playground itself is actually not a small undertaking, because I have to make a game engine, I have to make a tile map editor, I have to make a scripting language. Of course, I could take a scripting language, but I still feel that what's currently out there is not user-friendly enough. So I want to keep extending it, but it takes a lot of time, of course. So I think the and/or operators are a bit further away in the future, but the showing variables, I think I want to have that one in, this year would be a stretch, but next year would be possible, I think. And also, if I already made a kind of a mock-up of like how the future screenplays would look like. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit. So in the future, I want screenplays to look like this, actually, where you can select these things, adding an action would just be clicking on a plus here, changing it would you click here and then either you type it, or you could get some kind of wizard to change things. You could drag and drop here, delete it, things like that. So to make it more user friendly, because right now I see people still struggle with the 4 spaces that you have to put in front of it, and with the ifs, what is below it, things like that. So I hope this thing actually makes it more clear of how it is structured, like that it's clear, like I have an if here, I have an else there, it's related to each other. Everything that's below it will probably get executed if we're here. So that's what I want to introduce in the future, but it won't be, if you remember, I was working on screenplays and actions right now, but this one won't be included in that one yet. Also, if you click on this one, near future, if you click on the header here I try to keep a bit of my plan in my head. So I have like a near-term plan, which is like extend the screenplays, which I'm doing right now. Then I will extend the tile maps, which is the easier tools that I showed you, water tiles, extra tile sets. Like I still have a snowy tile set, things like that. So I also want to add those while I'm working on the tiles. And then after that, it will be the inventory system, because as you can see here, it's right at the top here. So I've also been pondering in my head how I'm going to implement it, and actually I've came up with a nice system, kind of like a database system of how to keep track of weapons and all kinds of items, and how I'm not really sure yet how I will show it to the user, but but I'm working on it more from a conceptual phase right now. These ones are more practical, like I'm working on that practically, but this one is already in my head, because I have to, it has to fit in the rest of the program, of course. So yeah. And then after this one, the inventory, I will yeah, like I said, rework the core of RPG Playground. And then the core should be more or less what I want it to be. Like if you program things, then you start off, but you don't really know yet. It's like kind of a puzzle where you don't know yet where the different pieces will fit and things like that. So, but now as RPG Playground becomes more mature, and I will also add an inventory system in there, then it's really like the programming really becomes more mature, the structure, and then I'm confident enough to say like, okay, look, I can release the game engine itself. This will not include the editor, but this will only be the game engine. To make that open source, for example, release it on GitHub. And then we come to another question that was asked. Let me check who asked it. It's also Duck King. Will we actually get the ability one day to code plugins? And this kind of, it's related to this one because I'm not gonna release a real plugins like a lot of the game editors or game tools out there. They offer a kind of a plugin system where you can extend it, but I want to have like a game engine that is open source and that you can just adapt. So what you could do is, if this one is on GitHub, then you can just copy those sources on GitHub, start modifying it, start extending it. You can do whatever you want with it, and then when you're at RPG Playground, instead of using the default engine, you can say, okay, now let's use the engine that I rewrote, or let's use the engine that I extended. You can point it to the GitHub repository, and at that point, RPG Playground will use your code and not the default code. And that is where I want to get at, that it's not a plugin system. It's actually way more powerful than that, because you can rewrite anything you want. You can make it 3D, you can make it anything you want basically. Of course, you have a bit of a limit that that the editor can only work with certain things, but especially the actors, all the behaviors, things like that, it's coded in such a way that you can really start coding your own behaviors, extending it with parameters, and it will all be picked up by the editor. So I think that one will be really nice. I just don't know yet how many people will actually use it, because I know a lot of my users are using RPG Playground because you don't have to code. I know some of you can actually code, but it all depends. I think once I open source it, that I have to try to attract more developers. I know my Twitter feed, I have more developers following me, so then I can start pushing it there a bit more. And let's hope that it catches on with developers. And then of course a lot of work that I'm doing right now will be lifted from my shoulders, because some features that you see here on the left could actually just be created by adapting the game engine itself. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, but I have high expectations of that one, that it can really extend a lot of cool stuff. Let me check the chat here. So Comprehensible said that the mode edit, if you add question mark mode edit at the back, that you can edit the games, and I think it still works. So you can edit it, but of course you will not be able to save it, which is a good thing. But you can still, yeah, you can still see them and indeed play them full screen. But yeah, I don't know if it's, as a game designer, then I don't know if you really want your user to see the entire map, of course. Wait, Carlos is asking here, did you have plans to get financial or prefer to still be in manageable code project for you? What, Carlos, what exactly do you mean by this? And yeah, the inventory system, something that Lucas asked. The inventory system is mainly, yeah, what you see here. So it's you have you can have in-game items like a sword, a shield, things like that. You can trade it, you can sell it, you can buy it. Plus, you can of course equip your character with it. Like you can change your weapon into a sword, into a bow, or use certain things. So that's all the thinking behind it. Yeah, you mean get a big team? Yeah, I would love to get some good income of this and build a yeah, hire some people. But right now it's I don't have the numbers yet to do that. I think if it becomes more popular, then I can make some money with it, sell some extra stuff, and then I would be able to first make it a full-time job, hire somebody else, of course hire like a graphician, things like that. So yeah, I'm really trying to build it up from here, and it's going well. Like it's if I look at my statistics, it's always rising, always more people are using it. People who've been in the community for a longer time, they really know the difference between first when we started the Discord, that it sometimes was like, you know, the chirping crickets that you hear, that a few days nothing was said, and or even a week. But now you can see it picks up. You can see every day on RPG Playgrounds new games are released, things like that. So the numbers are really increasing, and yeah, it's kind of an exponential effect. Like at the start is really hard, but once you get it going, you can see more and more people joining. That's also actually what I see in my statistics. It's hard to predict yeah, when I will reach what, but I really see a big difference there. So I hope that at a certain point this can become a real project, and yeah, features get implemented faster, things like that. But of course it will always have a free version. I always want to have some kind of free version that you can just pick up yourself. You go to the website, register, start creating games. If I really start selling things, it will be really, yeah, right now it's advertisements, but I don't want to have like the blocking ads in there. But it's possible that I start selling extras, like extra features or like extra graphics, things like that. So, but we'll see. Right now it's still, let's just say, I still want to improve the product and still get more users into into using it before I can really say like, okay, now it's time to really start selling something. Another question, two questions actually. Are you gonna add custom sprite system? And two, you're gonna add a builder list. Example, the people on the builder list can only edit the game If not, okay, like that. Okay, first question. Well, it has two parts. First part is import your own graphics, of course. Second part is, and it also needs to be here somewhere, character customization. Yes. So there is this website, let's hope it still works, where you can create your own personas. Like you can start adding things to this character and adds all kinds of decorations, like even change what kind of character it is. And here you see, and it has different animations, like it has a spellcast animation and a slash animation, things like that. So if I would do the 2D variant, it will be either this or something like this, where you can start customizing. I think in the first instance you could just use this one and then import the character that you created into RPG Playground. Of course, it would be way cooler if we would really have like some real character customization in there, like change everything you want in the character. But there, the problem is 2D is like the 2D graphics are a bit limiting sometimes. So it actually would be really preferable if it would be 3D. Then you can change all kinds of things way more easier than it is with 2D. But I don't know yet if for the long term, and this is not short term, but for the long term, that we need to go 3D or not, because it would offer like a lot of benefits on the customization side. Also, for example, let's just say you want to add a dungeon level and you want to add some lights in there. In 2D, to get it right, it's more difficult, but in 3D you just say like, okay, here's a light point, like a light point, another light point, and the game engine will take care of it. So that part is more difficult with 2D games. So I'm not sure if we need to go to 3D route, but it's definitely not for the short term, because there are plenty more features that are more urgent, I think. Then the second question was the builder list, so that you could add certain people in. This is really a website question currently. I know, for example, also a lot of schools are using it, and for them it would also be beneficial maybe to even say like, okay, I only want my friends to play the game, because now if you put it, either you put it private, nobody can play it, or public, and then all of a sudden everybody can play it. So we might have more fine-grained things in the future, but to be honest, I didn't really think of this one yet in more detail. But it's at a certain point it definitely needs to come where this is more, where you can have more options for this one indeed. Let's see what else was here. Cassius asked, what's the current state of the water tile set card? Yes, so actually the water tiles, when I first wanted to implement this, then it seemed to be a lot of work, because my tile engine does not support animation yet, and I was also not sure how I had to do it, because in the past I did a lot of optimizations. For example, if you see the tiles here, I did an optimization where I do not draw all the tiles all the time, but I just cache it into some image, and then I just print the image instead of the tiles. But right now I changed the engine, and it just blitz all the sprites every time onto the screen. So every 60 times a second, everything on a tile map is printed. That is in view, of course, and it seems to be fast enough. so that would also mean that if I use animated tiles, it would make no difference. It would also be fast. So that's why these water tiles are now, partly because a lot of people request it already for a very, very long time, that it's high up my list, and I hope that I can implement it pretty fast. That's also why I put it, see, with the once I finish the actions here, then the water tiles are here, like the easier tools and the water tiles are there. So I hope to get it this year or early next year, I guess. So I hope that is good news for basically every user of RPG Playground, because I think every user has already asked for the water tiles. So let's hope this will be a good one, I think, because I think it can really light up your levels a lot. Of course, it's not only the tiles, but it needs to have some sound. Like, of course, if you walk past by water, then you want to hear, like, especially the waterfall, then you want to hear it a bit. So that one also needs to get done, of course, but it's finally coming. Yes. Now wait up. Will there ever be a thing to duplicate your games so one could be like a demo and the other a game? Yes. Right now I do it by hand. That one definitely needs to be implemented on the website, because we used to have that actually before this new website. It was pretty easy to do it. There was a save as button, and you just saved it as another game, and it would be fine. Right now I'm currently not sure yet if I really want a copy button or if I want to export your game, because that one was also requested. I don't see it right here. Yeah, so it's the, how many votes does this have? 6 votes. Yeah, so this one is export and import project zip files. So if this one is supported, then that would mean you can just create a new game, an empty game. You export your files from your demo, for example, and you import it in your game. So that one would also, of course, support the copying, not as you want, of course, like just press a button and copy, but this one would already be good enough, I guess. And then you also have the export and import the zip files. Then you can, because a lot of people sometimes want to get their hands on their project, and that's the way to do it. So yes, I hope that answers your question. Let's see what else was asked in the Discord. Can we have zombies, soldiers, skeletons, wolves, bears in the future? I'm probably not gonna release those things myself, because I think it would be better to support the import your own graphics, and then then you can import whatever you want. I think there's a lot of graphics on the internet, also people selling like graphic packs, things like that could actually support this. There is one, but I forgot his name, and he has a huge selection of different tile sets and different characters, actually in the format that we support, but I forgot his name. Maybe I'll I look it up and I'll paste it in our Discord. But if you could import your own graphics, of course, and you can buy such a package, then you can do a lot of stuff. So yeah, but probably not something that I will offer in the near future anyway. And then what else is here? Oh, that was a difficult question. Ducking asked, what features are you eager to implement? That one, I already thought about it because there was a question that was submitted like yesterday or something. But that one is really hard for me to answer, because a lot of times, of course, I want to see extra functionality, but of course I also know how much effort is put into that. So my dream would be that I would just think about a feature and it would be magically implemented, but unfortunately I haven't found a way to do that yet. So a lot of stuff that I actually want to see is really complex. Like I really want to have like the screenplays easy to use with very nice like wizards that you don't have to know the concepts of programming. You can just like start creating functionality straight away. But it also unfortunately is a lot of work to get there. It's like I said before, it's a project on its own to make such a thing. So that one I would really love to work out in detail. But of course other features are also pressing. And then what's on my mind lately is finalizing or making the core of RPG Playground better. Like this is more on like the architecture of it all. You guys will never see that part, of course. You only see the consequences, but it got everything to do with inventory, where I will rework a lot of the core, and that would also mean that I could easily support, for example, an undo and a redo functionality, a save functionality. Also, for example, that let's just say you're working on your game and your internet connection drops and you close the browser. Right now, if you didn't save, it's gone, but this one would also enable it that it would be first saved in your web browser cache. Actually, you have like the new browsers have a web store there, that it will be stored there. So if you lose connection on internet, you can just continue editing and it will be stored in your web browser. Even if you start up, like if you start RPG Playground without an internet connection, you can just continue the last project you were working on. So that would be also a really cool feature, I think. And then it could easily sync with the server, with the RPG Playground server. So in essence, I might be able to drop the save button like that it would work more like, for example, like the Google Docs, where you just edit stuff. Don't worry about saving; it's edited straight away. And if you make a mistake, you just undo your things, and that would, I think that would be a cool feature that would be enabled by reworking the core a bit. Also, of course, the undo redo, and it would also. I know this feature is not on your mind, but in the far future it might be, and that is that multiple people work on the same game. So multiple people could work on a game and you see the edits happening in real time. Like if I change the tile map and you're also working on that game, you see it changing straight away. So those features are all included in that one. So I'm very much looking forward to making those things happen. But of course it's got partly short term, like with inventory and stuff, and partly long term with all the features that I mentioned now. Wait, have you heard Flash Player won't be no more when December hits? Yes, I heard it. But that's no problem because I started RPG Playground in Flash, but I converted it years ago into Hex, the Hex programming language, and that one can actually export to various things, and one of the things is HTML5. So right now RPG Playground is not working in Flash anymore, but it's working in HTML5. The cool part about Hex is that I can also, if needed, I could also easily port it to desktop, to a real mobile app, or even to Nintendo Switch, to an Xbox, to PlayStation, things like that. So that would be really cool too. But I first want to focus on the desktop and on the mobile devices before I do that. But in the future, it would be really cool, I think. For example, if I support the Nintendo Switch, that you just make a game on a desktop, you go to your Nintendo Switch, or you say to your buddy like, hey, check it out on Nintendo Switch. You go there, press the game, and you can immediately play it. I think that would be a cool feature. But I first want to get more people onto the desktop and the mobile version. So how did I make RPG Playground? Yeah, programming in Hex right now. So Argentina is also here, I see. I'm guessing the Spanish people that speak Spanish are well represented here, thanks to the nice YouTube videos that were made. What else was here? As a question. Yes, the last question I see here, but that was with the plugins. So that one I also explained, I guess. Yes, indeed, it won't be good if it disappears. But anyway, back then, I can't remember exactly the year when I converted it, but then it was already clear that that Flash was was not gonna be supported much longer. So that's why I made the switch to HTML5. To be honest, I was a bit scared because with Flash you were pretty sure that it would work the same on all platforms. With HTML5 and the different browsers, different operating systems, you're not sure, but actually it was better than expected. Sometimes certain browsers did something weird, but yeah, for the most part it's really went fine. Translators, yeah. Right now I don't need it, but yeah, I'm not sure yet what to do with, because that's the whole idea about multi-language support. I once made a Dutch version actually, and it's still partly in there, but of course the website needs to support it. RPG Playground needs to support it. I think it would be beneficial, of course, especially Spanish language. A lot of people in the world speak Spanish, so I think it could actually make a huge difference. But right now I'm still focusing on English. But that's also like one of those things that's in my mind. What do I do with that in the future? I even thought like maybe, Google Translate now, they offer actually a way to just, for me to input text and then I get it translated back. So that would mean if somebody makes a game in English and you have a Spanish speaking person in there, wants to start the game, that it's automatically translated. But then again, some things might be wrongly translated. But yeah, that's also, let's just say, an idea that I had in my mind, but there's no concrete plans to do that yet. But I hope at some point that I actually want to support different languages, because a lot of users are like 14 years old, 12 years old, and then of course like my own kids, they speak Dutch, they don't speak English, so I see that, yeah, of course it's for them it's hard to get something in English while they can read and write in Dutch. So I think it would be nice to have multilingual support. Yes, whoa, I see an hour has passed already. And 12 viewers, I think that's remained stable a bit. Yeah, just if you have more questions, of course, ask. And I also want to say thank you all for looking at the stream, for interacting here. It actually went pretty good because I wasn't sure if I could have kept up with all the chat and things like that, but it was no problem. It went really well. So cool. And I guess if there are no more questions, then that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I don't know, yeah, later on in the Discord or something, you can also let me know if you want me to do this again. I guess now it was more generic, of course, but I was thinking about maybe sometimes giving an update of what I'm working on, or what are the new features, like just like now, like we take the roadmap here, I can show you what I'm working on, things like that, like really an update. So that would be maybe, I don't know yet, I still have to think about it. Yeah, so thank you all too for staying and for interacting and listening. All right, so that's it. If you want to continue the discussion, of course, go to the Discord. I don't know if you all are on the Discord. Let me copy paste the link in the chat. So if you want to keep chatting, of course, that's the place to go. All right, it's nice to see that that you enjoyed it. ABC is it's getting really later, I see. So maybe it's good that that we leave it at this. All right. Bye guys. Wait, let me set it like this. Yeah, thanks a lot for joining, for interacting. Actually, I really enjoyed it myself. So yeah, see you in the Discord. See you next time. Bye.